Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, good. Everyone's awake. Well, welcome to Strategic Factory. We are super excited to have you here today. My name is Mitch Williams, and I'm a sales trainer here. So I work with our sales staff to help them drive value to our clients. In just a minute, I'm going to introduce our speaker today, Craig George, and he's going to be doing the main event, effective marketing strategies for enrollment growth. I would just ask if you would please hold your questions until the end. We'll have a designated time for Q&A. Sound good? Cool. So who's Craig George? Craig is our integrated marketing strategist, and what that really means is he brings the strategy to Strategic Factory. Right, so Craig has graduate studies in marketing and communications, and he also has over 20 years experience in the marketing space across a variety of different industries. So he's a wealth of knowledge here for Strategic, and he helps drive value to our clients, and he's a great fit for what we do. So yeah, we appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing what Craig has. All right, thanks, man. Okay.
All right, good morning, everybody. Let me just, I want to do a quick survey in the room. I see a couple shirts. So who is actually in the post-secondary field now? University, college? One, okay. Secondary, these guys. Below primary, anybody? Primary, okay. And non-education field? Okay, okay. I asked that because I consider marketing a universal language. I wrote this presentation geared more toward the higher ed industry, but again, marketing is universal. These tricks and tips can work in any industry, any field. So the power of brand. I want to talk about brand for just a second. We have what we call at my house when the doorbell rings and it's somebody with a clipboard. We call them clipboards. We know we're not going to answer the door because they're selling something, right? Everybody knows that. How likely are you to buy something from clipboards? But yeah, everybody thumbs down. No, right? They're going to answer the door. How about after a networking event like this, or a series of networking events where you are familiar with the person, you've gotten to know them, you recognize their face, you've had a few conversations? How likely are you to purchase? More likely, right? Let's go one step further. How many people know the brand Chewy, Chewy.com, the pet food supplies online, right? I had an experience with them recently. They try to push people to a online recurring shipment membership. So you order dog food, you get it every 3 months, dog food comes, it shows up at your door. When you, unfortunately, when things happen, the pet passes, and you don't need that dog food anymore, they have a drop down. You need to cancel that standing order, and the drop down says, pet passed. The next step, which Chewy has done, is they've actually hired a series of artists that are on staff. That if you have a pet profile picture in your account, they'll do an oil painting of your pet's picture, send it to you with a little note saying, we're really sorry. It makes me choked up just thinking about it. I've sworn to be a Chewy customer for life because of this. It was an amazing experience, and that's branding, right? You are going to be a customer for life. That's what we want to achieve with our marketing efforts. We want our students to be our students for life, to carry the torch for our schools, right? Okay, so how do we get to Chewy? The key is finding your niche. And what I like to do to find our niche is a series of what I call XY graphs. So in this case, if we compare the average value of an aid package for a student versus the percentage of students receiving aid, then you have certain institutions that will give high packages, but a low number of students receive those packages. You'll have other institutions that the aid value package is a little bit lower, but more students will get aid. We might be in this area, all right? So our goal is to find where everybody else is and go where they're not, right? So we carved out our own niche, figured out, okay, there's nobody in this space, we can control this space. We can draw students from this space. Now, ideally, the university has been sort of built up over the years to target to this, to deliver to this specific niche. If that isn't the case, it's up to us as marketers to carve out a niche for ourselves, and figure out where we best fit in. Now what I tend to do is I'll give, actually in your packages, we have sort of a little package, or a little find your niche worksheet that you can take. And again, this is sort of industry agnostic. Again, it was written for higher ed, but the principles apply. And what I've given is a couple of other recommendations for other XY axes that we can figure out where do we fit. And the idea is, you find data sources that will help you figure out where all these other institutions fit. So, for example, College Scorecard, College Board, Niche, US News, Princeton Review. These are all data sources where you can figure out where our institution fits in compared to others. And once we figure out the niche, we need to figure out who fits in that niche. Who is that ideal customer profile? Who's that ideal student? And we need to know everything about them. Their likes, their needs, their pain points, their future aspirations, their financial background, everything we can about them. And we get a lot of this information from their applications, we can send out surveys, and I'll show you a few examples after. We want to know everything we can about that person we create this general profile, and then we find, okay, who matches this profile in our database, in our CRM. CRM is really the customer resource management system, is really the key to all of this. The more data we have, the more targeted we can make our messaging. There are a couple other audiences to think about. Consider family members, parents, the influencers, the people that are helping the student make a decision. Also consider counselors or advisors who are also going to be in that student's ear. Those are audiences we want to build out to. We want to reach out to them. Now, once we've figured out our niche, we've figured out our target audience, now we have to create a compelling message to reach that person. I would switch these two. Ideally, we build a consistent brand identity around that niche. So all of our marketing efforts, everything has a unique, or the signature look and feel to that's going to appeal to that niche. So school colors, everybody's brand, everybody's carrying the brand with them. Everything that comes in the mail is that same brand, that same color. It's that color, that brand, that image is recognized instantly by the student. And then compelling message, of course. We need to figure out, okay, based on those pain points, based on those demographics, based on who we've carved out this niche for, how do we best reach them? Are they social media? What social media platforms do they most likely use? How do we figure out how to get our image in front of their eyeballs? And how do we do that? Okay. So of course there's leveraging digital, so search engine optimization, content marketing, social media engagement, and then I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this last one, personalizing the admissions process. This is an example. So actually, we're fortunate. My son just graduated as a senior from high school and is in the college admissions process right now. So I've been sort of gathering all this stuff, and I wish I had known about this presentation a little bit sooner, because all of the marketing stuff that came in the mail, we just sort of tossed it. If we had kept it, I would have had some great examples for you that went along with this. So Tampa has done a fantastic job from the marketing perspective. They really dug into their CRM. They knew a lot about my son Matthew. You can see that here's an example of an email that I got. Dear Craig, during Matthew's college search, they personalized the email. We actually received a nicely bound, probably 30-page book about the university that was what we call variable printed. It was customized for Matthew. So you open up the first page, and it's, congratulations, Matthew, we'd love to have you as a student here. And dove into his background, his aspirations, his major choices. The next few pages were, here's your financial summary, here's the merit award we'd love to give you, here's the grants you're applicable for, here's what your tuition would be at the end of the day. Go through multiple pages. Matthew, we understand you're interested in this type of career. Here's how we can help you reach that career. His name was throughout the entire book. There was a lot of effort that went into this. This was sort of an example of a survey that Tampa had sent out, asking various questions, and they used this survey data to fill that CRM and then customize that book for Matthew. Here's an example of sort of what not to do. This Embry-Riddle is another college he was looking at, and you can see it's hello, no mention of me, no mention of Matthew, no personalization, no customization. Everybody got the same exact email. Actually, so I wanted to go touch a little bit more on this with direct mail pieces. Now, the other thing we can do is you're going to get a lot of applications, a lot of outreach that you need to do. Not everybody is, I don't want to say, not everybody's worthy of your marketing dollars. So there are some students that have applied that probably aren't going to fit that niche. So maybe they just get a postcard. Here's an example. I'll pass these around so you can see them. But it's not personalized. It's just sort of everybody got the same postcard. It's a very sort of inexpensive postcard. You want to pass those around? Here are some examples, what I call high effort but generic. So these are some really nicely produced pieces, but they are not personalized. So the school in question spent a lot of money to produce these pieces, but I feel like they're missing the mark because they didn't personalize it. You can see that, so our CEO's daughter is actually in the college hunt process too, so she's been grabbing all these for us. And you can see there's some of these that she never even opened because there's no call to action, there's no personalization, no reason to open these things. So it's a lot of money wasted and missed the mark. Here's the sort of the next step. Very nice piece that is, you'll feel it's embossed. It has a die cut of the logo on the front, sort of envelope, a personalized piece inside, well crafted. So this sort of brings the bar a little bit higher. These, so University of Alabama did this sort of neat thing. You can see that they're digging into their CRM a little bit more. So again, our CEO's daughter received a sort of generic postcard. Okay, fine. But then they followed up with, so at some point in her application, she declared that she's of the Jewish faith. And so they sent a postcard that is specific toward Jewish students attending the university. So you can see that they're really digging in, trying to personalize and customize. Here's another example. And I wanted to point, again, this is sort of a series from LSU, sort of general to specific to her major interests. But I also wanted to point out, so you see the high cost ones that are kind of in the bags, that are sealed, they're protected in the mail system. You can see this, when it goes through all the rollers in the US Post Office system, these postcards get marred up. Now remember, this is your brand showing up in the mailbox. So this is what your student is seeing. Not the best look. They come in a nice bag where it's protected, or an envelope. That shows that you're putting a little more effort into it, keeps your brand clean, your image clean, and does a better job of sending the right message to your potential students. Okay. So just a couple of additional outreach. Of course, there's the customized email. Again, I want to touch on social media and web events. So this sort of came about with COVID, as everything was online. There's a great opportunity with social media for live events, so that students can take virtual tours. They can speak to students, speak to alumni, learn about the school. Just having that live person and customize again for that individual student or that demographic, that niche student. And then of course we've been talking about personalized communications. The last thing I want to talk about is sort of the broader scope, the community around the school. So alumni networks, parents, partners and donors, and the actual physical community around the school. These are all great ways to sort of embrace that student. Alumni networks can reach out to students and say, I loved going to this school because of this. I understand you're interested in this major. That was my major. I love the program here, that kind of thing. I want to give an example. A friend of mine went to George Washington University. He played D1 basketball there. And all the D1 athletes at George Washington, they get assigned what they call the mentor family. An alumni or a local community member that was close to the school. They would sort of host each of these students and act as sort of a guide, mentor, just somebody in the community that they can, an ear to listen to, a hand to help out, just to make sure they're comfortable at their time at GW. That program is what made my friend decide to go to GW. He is still, he graduated with me 20 years ago. He still is in contact with his mentor family. They're close family friends now. And that relationship is still what brings him back to GW. And he wants to be a mentor family for, so it's this evolving revolution that keeps going around, coming around. Again, I go like this with my arm, sort of encircling the prospective students, bringing them in, right? So just to wrap up quickly, again, strong brand identity. Discover your niche. Figure out who's the student that best fits that niche. Use dynamic approaches, variable. We want to customize to reach that person. And then a strong community to embrace that client, that student, right? Okay, and I think with that, okay, just a few things that, just, you saw the tour, so a lot of what we do here at Strategic Factory, so printed, email marketing, direct mail, promotional products and apparel, branding, signage, and then we actually also have a full digital agency or marketing agency here at Strategic Factory. So basically, you can put your logo on it, we can help with it. And with that, I'll open up for questions. Yeah.